Hello everybody, Dullahan here. Um, so I made a bit of a mistake, and this is the Elite League Finals for Division A between Tex and Val.Hero. And this is actually Game 1, but I confused this as Game 4. So this is going to be the first one you see, but this is actually the last one I am casting. So it might be a little strange seeing my commentary in the other games talking about the final match, because this is actually the first match. But anyway, so this is a match between Tex playing as the Brother Captain on the east side of Seawall Frontier, and Val.Hero playing as the Force Commander. So this is a pretty fun matchup, Space Marines versus Ordo Malleus. Especially Brother Captain versus Force Commander. I feel like they really they're very similar heroes in terms of like being tanky melee heroes. So far we see pretty standard openings from both Tex and Val.Hero. Strike Squad being a little isolated here, being gained up on. This engagement is not really worth it for Tex here. He's just kind of taking a lot of free damage from those Kraken bolts and attacks. So yeah, smart move is just to pull back. We do have a generator coming up for Val.Hero, so he's going to have a very slight power advantage. Actually, no, Tex actually pulls ahead a little bit here with this PowerPoint. It's something to keep in mind in your own games is sometimes it's better to go capture PowerPoints on the map than just build generators. So Stormtroopers kind of skirmishing up at the top here. I think ultimately they're going to get forced off here. The attacks are just going to force melee here, and yeah, they might take a model loss or two that probably doesn't want. Sometimes you just got to pull back. So far, no upgrades for anything. Scouts are getting shotguns, and they did get a sergeant, so that's a pretty heavy commitment early on to these scouts. But I think that's a good one overall. The extra shotgun damage will be a lot. Brother Captain being kind of annoying though, but I think eventually the scouts are just going to turn on him and force him on. I suspect Tex is going to go for... Oh, he's actually floating quite a lot of power right now. He's going for operatives. So I think he made a mistake buying these generators when he did. He could have had ops a little bit sooner. He is getting a bit of a bash here with the Strike Squad on the generators. Not the fastest at killing generators, but they can totally do that. Force Commander being a little annoying here, but ultimately just giving time for these attacks to cap territory. Scouts are going to force off the Strike Squad pretty handily. Scout Squad is upgrading with the Tomes of Titan for bonus health and bonus abilities. I don't know if that's really all that useful, to be honest. I suspect Val.Hero is probably going to go for Assault Marines pretty soon here, so maybe the Tome of Titans will be more relevant then. But he could also just not do that. He does have the map control to not need to worry about that. Ooh, a big blow on these... I guess that must have been a scout grenade. He might actually wipe... that was a very strange knockdown. I didn't realize that the Force Commander could do knockdown on retreating units. It's kind of strange. Doing the fallback plan already on the ops to just kind of get back in the engagement and heal up. So that's a big blow, wiping out that Stormtrooper squad. So Tex is going for double operatives versus Val.Hero getting Assault Marines. I think Assault Marines should beat that pretty handily. Operatives throwing the incendiary grenade on the scouts, doing quite a bit of damage there. I would kind of like to see the Alacrity armor. Oh, going for Artificer. Okay, Artificer is okay too. It's a lot of extra health and health regen. I probably would have went for Alacrity personally, just so you can really get into melee with those operatives. And using these grenades to just really force Val.Hero to be ineffective. Once these strike squads get into melee, it's going to be a lot of trouble for Val.Hero. Income-wise, it's even. Both players have plus 54 power. Scout Squad taking a lot of losses here. Actually got the infiltration upgrade, so those are fully upgraded scouts. That's a big investment into that one squad. That's a good example where the fallback plan really is annoying to deal with. He might not even use it, actually. He'll use it on these ones probably to get back in there. Maybe not. Okay. So we're saying a second tax squad for Val.Hero. That is a okay choice at this point. I think he really needs to use the Assault Marines in concert with his other units. So you can see Tex is getting almost completely the whole map captured on the middle here. So he's going to start having a lot of VP pressure. Val.Hero is capping the bottom, so that's going to reduce the VP pressure a lot. Something people don't really realize is if you have at least one victory point captured, the most they can drain you is 1 VP every 2 seconds. Whereas if you have no VPs captured, they could potentially get 2 to 0 or 3 to 0. So if you have at least 1 VP in your control, it keeps you in the game a lot longer. So if you're losing, you want to just focus on 1 VP. These operatives are going to chew the Force Commander apart here. Smartly just kind of sitting in cover here until his other units get up to support. And yeah, smartly going for a Flamer Bash. I think he definitely needs to put some power pressure on Tex. Tex is already able to go to tier 2 at this point, but he's not yet. But is going tier 2 now. Val.Hero's not too far behind though. I don't think it's going to avail Tex much of an advantage. Forever Captain coming in on the flank just to be annoying. What Tex has to watch out for here is this Strike Squad though. I think that's what he should focus on with the Assault Marines. And the tax can totally deal with the operatives. If for the Emperor on the Assault Marines, boosting their damage and damage resistance to melee, I believe. So the Strike Squad is definitely going to have to retreat. He's going to go for the retreat grenade, I think, with the Scout. Going to take a lot of damage to pull that off, though. I don't think that's really worth it. Maybe if he wipes it? No, he's not going to wipe it. Too much health. Assault Marines need to get out of here. They're going to bleed models in about a second here. They need to just go home. I see this a lot in these kind of higher level games where heroes are really doing most of the capping. That's not good for Val.Hero. He might lose his fully upgraded Scout Squad unless this Force Commander can really tie up this Stormtrooper Squad before they get one more volley off. He does manage to do that. And we're going to see a Razorback from Tex, I think, right about now. So Val.Hero did manage to wipe out Tex's gen farm, but at the expense of kind of falling behind on VPs, and Tex a huge requisition advantage, so all that bleeding that Val.Hero took is going to hurt him a lot more than Tex. Potentially he could have just waited for a drop pod, but I think mostly he just took damage. He didn't actually lose that many models. But yeah, I was going to say that I see a lot of people just kind of using their hero as a capping squad, which I feel is kind of a waste. Your hero is the most powerful unit that you can build, quite frankly. And so, yeah. He's got these scouts up here, but I think he's trying to go for a grenade or something. I like the idea, but it wasn't really worth trying that, I don't think. Force Commander's going to get forced off. Scout's getting forced off. Using for the Emperor right before it being forced off, too, so... That was pretty poor engagement for Val.Hero. And going for a Razorback of his own. Tex is committing to the Heavy Bolter, so they can't get a las cannon to counterpick that. That's something you can kind of do with Grey Knights, is you can just get... You can just bash gens with it or whatever. It really limits their options, because it's a lot riskier to go for a Razorback or a Dreadnought against a las Rhino. But at the same time, you're also reducing your anti-infantry power. But I don't think that's something he's struggling with double ops. I think actually Purifiers might have been a good option too. I know they're kind of in a weird place in terms of Grey Knights, but they're pretty good against Assault Marines, pretty good against Tax. I think they would have actually been pretty good in this situation. His weakness, though, would have been anti-vehicle. No hero for the Brother Captain again, he's just on capping duty. And Val.Hero's going to bash Texas gens completely, so that is kind of equalizing the power situation. Val.Hero did replace his generators though, so he's gonna get a bit of an advantage there. So we do have the Unending Purge for the Brother Captain. Gives him a 1% heal when he hits stuff with his ranged or melee attacks. It's kind of like Icon of Corn, but better. Going really hard on this Razorback Rhino, not worth it. He might actually lose these Assault Marines. Yep, Assault Marines go down. Attack Marines are going to take some auto losses here. This is way overextended from Val.Hero, I think. He really needs to tie up these operatives. They're doing an immense amount of damage. He is reinforcing the attack squad with the... oh, sorry, that's a Sergeant. So maybe he'll just go for a Stern card, if he especially if he manages to snipe the Rhino with the missile attack. And we are going to see a Purgation squad from Tex for the silencers, probably. That'll be really tough to deal with. So not going in the Stern Guard, just reinforcing the attack. I mean, they're both bashing each other a lot, but I don't think these are really getting a whole lot done, killing the generators. And Tex has a huge VP lead at this point, 200 VPs to 464 for Val.Hero. And these operatives are about to stroll up here. Oh, okay, he did spot it. Something you can do to kind of counter operatives is just put the scouts in the Razorback, and you just drive up on them. Same for like Rangers or any sort of cloaking unit. Throwing those grenades from rather far away. Both players very low income right at this moment, between upkeep from so many squads and losing their generators repeatedly. This is going to be a situation where whoever bleeds more is going to lose. So whoever can mitigate the most damage. Which I think Tex is in a better position for that, because operatives mitigate a lot of damage just through their fallback plan. Oh, we did actually go for a conversion beam. I like that. That's a lot scarier for the Razorback, because it just does such an immense amount of damage. Operatives kind of idle over on the north side of the map. Val.Hero getting some victory point pressure here. The strike squad is a bit overextended here. I think Val.Hero needs to worry less about pushing Texas power and just focus on the VP pressure, get the triple cap up. Yeah, so we're not going to see any new units coming up from either player for quite a while at this point. This is a good situation to tech when you're upkeep starved, because generally you have a ton of power and not enough requisition. So you want to tech up. Maybe if you lose some squads, so you can upgrade it. That was a very long-range melt-a-bomb. And Brother Captain is just trying to be annoying, but he's just going to have to run away here. Also, that stun on that melt-a-bomb. Wow, that lasted a really long time. So, Texas Razorback, or Rhino, I guess, is about to be level 2. Leveling for vehicles doesn't really matter a ton, but it does boost their damage. Just a little bit. And I think health, maybe. It's definitely more important for infantry, but it does make a difference, I think. Especially for someone that has as high damage as the Razorback does. An extra, like, 3%, 5% is still a decent amount of extra damage. Tex going for, or sorry, Val.Hero going for a second Razorback. I don't know about that. I think the conversion beam is just so scary versus a Razorback. Oh yeah, he does change his mind. He goes for the Librarian. That's a much better choice, I think. I would like to see the Force Commander get some sort of weapon. Probably the hammer. And just get the hammer, get in on melee on these operatives, and just disrupt them. I think that's the way to go here. Either that or get the Sacred Standard and just stand next to your Razorbacks, your attacks, let them get a ton of bonus damage. Razorback going for harass on the Texas Gens, and following up with a Devastator squad. Yeah, that's a good idea. One thing I have noticed since I watched a few games of Val.Hero is Val.Hero is very good about using his global abilities, whereas Tex tends to float a lot of red by comparison. Even though he sometimes uses for the Emperor when it's not that beneficial. So I think we're going to see advanced targeting for Vengeance rounds on a Devastator. I think that's a good choice. He doesn't really need the las cannon. Force Commander is just going to get blasted up here. I don't think it's really worth chasing here. He's going to have to retreat. Librarian's gonna have to get out of here pretty soon here. He's getting chunked down by this Brother Captain Halberd. And yeah, the Strike Squad though is getting forced to retreat. Might actually get hit by a grenade here. Using Mind Blades and gonna actually probably wipe that Devastator. That grenade was almost really good. Well, he might snipe the Rhino here, but he's going to lose this Razorback to the Conversion Beam. And the Melt-A-Bomb. And this tax squad being chewed up over here by the Strike. Really underestimating the Brother Captain. Brother Captain level 3 now, wiping that tax squad. But he is going to wipe the Stormtroopers. He might be able to get the Strike Squad with a grenade here. I don't think he has enough energy, though. But maybe he can bleed into Remodel off. VPs are somewhat still in Texas' favor. Force Commander's going to die here, I think. And might just barely get away. Scout Squad going to lose on the Remodel. Trying to burst on the Brother Captain with the Vengeance rounds for the Emperor and the Librarian synergy, but he just has so much health. And I think he's just going to retreat. Again, going for the Gen Bash is just not really worth it. He needs to get that VP. Both players down to 4 units each, so quite a few units died in this last few engagements. I could see a Vindicator being a good choice at this point from Tex. That'd be really annoying for everything Val.Hero has, and he doesn't have any good counters to a Vindicator Assassin. Instead, going for Interceptor Squad, that's also a good choice. Because Val.Hero is not... He's getting a Power Fist now, but the Power Fist is not the best choice against Interceptor's Strike Squad. I think the Fender Hammer would have been a better pick. It's more disruption, more power melee damage. Must be worried about a Dreadnought, but... It's one of those situations where you need to kind of learn to judge how much upkeep your opponent is paying, how much power they probably have. When you're bashing power all game, they're not going to have a Dreadnought. Interceptor Squad is going to come out and probably force off the Scouts. You can see Tex going for these VPs at the same time, so Tex is going to have a triple cap here during this fight. Val.Hero only has 170 VPs, so that's only less than 2 minutes on a triple cap. So if Tex manages to force him off this engagement, he's going to lose the game because he won't have time to go cap the VPs. Even if he wins this engagement, I don't think he'll have time to go get the VPs. I think Tex has just won the game with his triple cap. But we shall see. That's why I think he's dropping a attack squad down here to try and get this VP, but I don't think that's going to be enough. It's still going to be a double cap. And we do have Brother Captain with all sorts of stuff going on. I still don't know everything that he does, but generally when stuff is glowing, you probably don't want to fight. Yeah, Val.Hero does recognize the VPs, but fast enough? I don't know. The Librarian's going to get chunked down by these operatives, probably before he can decap. You really can't afford to be capping with double interceptors on the field like that. You need your detection. That's why putting the Scouts in the Razorback and just staying back would probably be a better approach. And yeah, I think Tex is going to win this one here. They got 3 minutes on a single VP train. And I think Tex just has so many more units. It feels like more units. It's not actually more units. It's 4 units versus 5 actually, but that's the difference between having a lot of high DPS operatives versus devastators or attack marines. Double plasma guns at this point, but I think it's too little, too late. Tex is gonna decap this bottom, and then it's gonna be 1 minute left for Val.Hero. I don't think he has time to really get. So he needs to decap 2 VPs right now. He needs to send 1 tack here, scout up here, rest of his army right here. He still has enough time to decap this, but he needs to use the attack squad. And he's kind of chasing these operatives. He's forcing the fight, and yeah, he just lost the game. So yeah, this was game 1 between Val.Hero and Tex. So this one will go up first, even though this is the last one I'm casting. And then, so this is 1 win for Tex so far. Alright. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next games.